Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Carlos Alcaraz won the French Open, Tone. Are you a fan of France?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, or as they call me in Paris, Tony Kornheiser. Yeah, big fan.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't know that.
Fan.
I rooted for France a lot yesterday because I rooted for France against Germany in a match I'm sure you didn't watch.
Soccer.
A lot of soccer.
Did
a lot
not
of
watch.
soccer consumed by me yesterday.
Soccer, you know what? Soccer's not me. I love the World Cup, but the rest of it, not for me yet. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Thunder beat the Pacers, the Oilers and Panthers are back on the ice, and sovereignty beats journalism at the Belmont. But we begin today with a spectacular final in yesterday's French Open. Carlos Alcaraz lost the first two sets to Jannik Sinner and faced 3 match points in the fourth. Alcaraz hung on, made the breaks he needed, and ultimately won 7-6 in the fifth in a match that lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes. Alcaraz joins Coco Gauff, who beat Aryna Sabalenka as French Open champions this year. Wilbon, I know you hung on every shot in the Alcaraz-Sinner match. What do you make of who won and how they won?
Tony, I guess there's just some amazing sporting events in history. And people, you know, the world of tennis fans is not as big as the world of NFL fans, or depending on where you're talking about domestically or not, NBA fans, and not as big as soccer fans. But there's some great tennis matches. I played tennis growing up, even through high school, and I love great tennis every year, and particularly in the slams. And this matchup has become a thing, as you and I talked about off camera yesterday on phone, almost overnight. They have replaced Joker and Federer and Nadal, these two, and they have history now against each other. 12 times they've played, and 8-4 Alcaraz is against Sinner, and they are the 1 and 2 players in the world. And they get together for a final like this, and I was sort of disappointed when Sinner was leading 2-0. Not because I have anything against Sinner. He's a great player. He's the number 1 player in the world. But I was like, okay, I wanted to see something special. And then you go, it's not going to be special because he's going to take Alcaraz's butt right out of here. And then he doesn't. And there's the point at 5-3 down, and he's facing 3 match points in the fourth set, and you're like, this is over, and it's not over. And Alcaraz, Tony, to me, if we fast forward through the point by point, people know this already, he talked about the confidence he had at that point. Dear friends, talks about great athletes having irrational confidence and the greatest ones having delusional confidence. And John Barry has seen it, maybe experienced a time or two, and been on the other side of it. And Alcaraz had it, and he clung to it, and he made it work, and it doesn't make sense, and it was magic. It's pure magic.
Yeah, it's a great tennis match. It is the first time, we should note, that Alcaraz came back from being down 0-2 in sets. I mean, he had never done that before. Look, I was not, as you know, we spoke about this, I was not as emotionally invested in this particular match as perhaps I should have been. Because I have been looking at Sinner and Alcaraz as kids trying to climb a hill. And in my mind, Djokovic is still on that hill. Well, I got to get him off that hill because he can't beat these kids anymore. Nobody can beat these people anymore. Mike, as we look forward to the next 4 years of majors, 16 majors, I'm not going to be at all surprised if these guys win 12 or 13 of them, because I don't see anybody in their group that can challenge them. This happens in I'm going to take some time here. I don't care about the bell. This happens in tennis. Young kids bubble up, and then they create rivalries. There was Borg and Lendl and Connors and McEnroe at one point, Agassi and Sampras at one point, obviously Federer and Nadal, Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, Billie Jean King, and Margaret Court. And they stay up there. This is the next iteration of that. These two are that good. I would just say that Sinner's got to get busy. If I'm not mistaken, the last 5 times he has played against Alcaraz, he has lost to Alcaraz. And the French is a special tournament, Mike, because the ball is slower coming off the clay. It's not like hard court. It's not like grass. So these things, you don't win points as much as you survive long points. This is a statistic that is fabulous. Mike, you want to know how close this was? Alcaraz won 192 points, Sinner won 193. Alcaraz won 30 games, Sinner won 29. How close is close? It was great. It was great. We move now to basketball.
Can't get any better.
We'll move to basketball. The Oklahoma City Thunder building a big lead over Indiana in Game 2 last night and never letting go of the rope like they did in Game 1. Oklahoma City dominated. The series is now 1-1. Wilbon, do you see this as just one win for Oklahoma City, or do you feel like the Thunder found something?
Tony, I feel like they found themselves and maybe a championship kick to some degree, maybe. I don't want to get crazy because I'm not one of those people who's counting out Indiana. Certainly not yet. They get to go home to a rabid crowd that I think the two best crowds in building right now in the NBA are in Oklahoma City and Indiana. You take your pick of which one. And they will be buoyed by that. I think the Pacers will be. They respond to it. Halliburton, when he comes off what is seen as a bad game or an inactive game to me, a passive game to me, tends to respond positively to that. And Rick Carlisle to getting his team to play better in that next game coming off a loss. Both these teams do that. So I think that OKC, though, they found themselves. They played up to the form that you and I have been expecting and most people have been expecting coming off these series wins in the second round against Denver in the conference finals. They did all that. But now I think Game 3 is a real game where you go, all right, let's see if somebody can get an advantage here. So I'm looking forward to that. But I do think Oklahoma City found something. Can they maintain it in Indianapolis in a couple of days?
This is pretty simple to me. Had Indiana won Game 2 the way they won Game 1, this series would be over, just like the Cleveland series was over with Indiana winning 4-1. So I expected, like you expected, Oklahoma City to go out, build a real big lead, and see if they could hang on. I was watching the Tony Awards, as I told you. I love the Tony Awards, and watching the game, and during commercials, flipping back and forth. And at one point, the score was Oklahoma City, something like 50-23. That's what it seemed like to me. And I said, okay, this one is done, because they're not going to give up this lead, because if they do, they're going to lose the series. They played as well as they could play. They should have played this way in Game 1. Game 1, like Holmgren gave them nothing. And I know you love J-Dub. He gave them pretty much nothing. Shot 6 of 19, 1 of 4 from 3. They were significantly better in this game, which is exactly what Oklahoma City needed. I mean, Indiana, and I agree with this, I can see, and I know you can see it's possible, Oklahoma City winning 4 in a row. We've seen that before in NBA Finals. So it's really important to see if Indiana can hold on to serve here. And I'm not exactly sure that they can. I think that Halliburton's, you can't just take 13 shots, Mike. They win every time he scores more than 20.
Well, he
was under 20 last night. He's their key. He's their guy.
No doubt, Tone. And by the way, remember, there's no 2-3-2 format. This is 2-2-1-1-1. So, you gotta, the pressure is on the Pacers to come back and win Game 3, I think. No doubt about that. Now that it's even.
Great.
Stanley Cup final is knotted at a game each. Moves to Florida for tonight's Game 3. Game 2 was a thriller. Corey Perry of the Oilers sent it to overtime with 18 seconds left. But in double OT, Brad Marchand, scored his second breakaway goal of the game to win it for the Panthers. Tony, each team has won in OT. So do you think either squad has established any kind of edge so far?
No, not at all. As you say, both games go to overtime. In one game, one of the stars, Leon Draisaitl, scores a winning goal for Edmonton. In the other game, one of the stars, Brad Marchand, who you don't like, scores a winning goal for Florida. The total amount of goals at the moment is 8-8. If you're looking for an advantage, you might say that, well, Florida came in and they took away home ice from Edmonton. And, Florida last year won the series. Well, that was last year. And if you want to go to home ice, because now they move to Florida, Florida's record in the playoffs at home this year, I believe, is 4-3, which is nothing. And Edmonton's record on the road is 6-3. So maybe that's an advantage for Edmonton. I think you can put your finger on the scale and make it move if you want. But to this point, Mike, I see no advantage. Maybe you do. I see none.
No, Tony, you scour some of the statistical measurements, which make me crazy in the best of times, and you can't come up with one there either, or I can't. Florida's been better in the second period, out shooting and outscoring Edmonton. The Oilers have been better in the third period, out shooting and outscoring Florida. And, disadvantage or disadvantage for Edmonton is that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a game-time decision tonight. He is critical to their power play and giving Edmonton an uncommon flexibility on the power play, when it comes to, McDavid and Draisaitl. And if he's not out there, you got some juggling to do, and maybe there's a slight disadvantage there. We don't even know that yet. He participated to some extent in morning skate. So, and like you said, Tony, we're looking to put the thumb on the scale somewhere and go, aha.
Yes.
There's an advantage.
Right, but
There's no advantage.
See it.
It's just even.
Florida's Sam Bennett has the most goals in the playoffs. He has 13 by himself. Draisaitl and McDavid have 16. You go, okay, well, that's an advantage to Bennett. But Bennett's point total is 19. McDavid has 31 and Draisaitl has 29. So everything counterbalances. And you know what it seems like, Mike? It seems like we're looking at 7 games, doesn't it? That's what I would say. We're looking at 7.
Yeah, it does. Again, yeah.
That's what I think.
How about that?
And I hope the 7 is good, but it's going to have to go a long way to be better than Alcaraz and Sinner. A long way. Let's take a break. Coming up, Aaron Judge homered off of Hunter Dobbins yesterday, but did Dobbins have reason to feel better about his Sunday?
And Tony will share his emotions as sovereignty pulled away from journalism to win the Belmont. Boo!
Very, very great race.
There's my sentiment.
That was
boo.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. The tennis was tremendous.
Those
guys are way ahead of everybody.
Coco Gauff's win.
Pardon the Interruption is brought to you by...
Time to validate the viewers in mail time. Let me see what's first.
Mail time!
Go to the glasses. Who should feel better about their Sunday? Red Sox rookie starter Hunter Dobbins or Yankee slugger Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge. I don't care that the Red Sox won yesterday. The Red Sox are 8.5 games behind the Yankees. I know that's not an insurmountable amount, but it's significant. 8.5 games. And Aaron Judge said, eat this. You don't want to ever be a Yankee? Who cares? Have these 2 home runs on a 3-for-4 day. And again, the Yankees are, let me say it again, 8.5 games ahead of the Red Sox. So who cares about some rookie pitcher? Maybe he'll grow up to be a New England hero someday. Yesterday, he got rocked.
Yeah, we could not disagree more on this one. To me, this is very easy. Hunter Dobbins, I learned today, grew up in Texas as a big Red Sox fan, loves the Red Sox, hates the Yankees. At one point, he is quoted as saying, if the Yankees, let me get the quote exactly, if the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I would retire. Okay? That's how much he hates them. Now, he did not have a great night last night. The first pitch he threw to Judge bombed it. All right? Went out of the stadium at that point. He gave up 3 earned in 5 innings. He didn't have any strikeouts. But his team won. They beat the dreaded foe 11-7, and he actually got the win. Judge had 2 home runs. Mike, it's the 43rd time in his career he's had multiple home runs. 43 times, so it's not really particularly special. And his team lost. So I actually think Dobbins is going to feel better about what happened on Sunday than Judge is going to feel.
That's a nice case you built, Tone. That's very nice. And you gave the kid from Texas a pat on the head. That's good. There's not a day in the world I would rather be this kid than Aaron F. Judge. Let's just get that out of the way right now. All right?
Okay.
He ain't Aaron Judge.
That's
not on his best day.
Here we go.
Might be a New England hero.
How did you
Good for him
feel?
if he is.
How did you feel when Sovereignty made his stretch run to win the Belmont over journalism?
Disappointed, Tony. Disappointed. You and I, we talked about this because you got to give me some nod here for watching live all 3 Triple Crown races of the horses, which even the trainers and the owners didn't care as much as we did because they didn't even run everybody in all 3. But I was disappointed.
That's right.
I don't know the horses. I don't know the trainers. I don't have any relationship to any of it. Journalism. I'm rooting for that. So I was very disappointed. There was a moment there, and you know this because you watched live, where journalism is out in front by maybe a length or so, and Sovereignty just runs him down. And you go, uh-oh. So that good feeling I had, that's over now.
It was a really good race. A really good race.
Yeah.
As were the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. And in this particular race, Sovereignty won fair and square, as he did in the Kentucky Derby. He ran down journalism in the stretch, and if this had been at Belmont Park, not Saratoga, where it's a mile and a half, he probably would have won by 10 to 12 lengths. And what I felt at that moment was that American horse racing fans had gotten cheated. All right, they got cheated. Bill Mott is a great trainer, the trainer of Sovereignty. And he never wants to run in the Preakness, and that is his choice, obviously. But there have been 157 Belmont winners, and nobody knows any of them. And there's 13 Triple Crown winners, and everybody knows some of them. Bill Mott denied this horse the chance for immortality. And Bill Mott said to American racing fans, your Triple Crown means nothing. Just means nothing, because I don't care about it. Well, to me, and just to me, he is the villain in this piece. Journalism ran all 3 Triple Crown races, and Sovereignty should have too. And if he won them all, God bless, because he would have beaten a great horse and he would have the Triple Crown. And now we don't have that.
Quick question.
And something's got to be changed.
Tony,
something's got to be changed.
Is Mott definitely responsible? Was it his call not to enter Sovereignty in the Preakness?
I think it's probably both. Mott has a history, I've been told, of not particularly respecting or wanting to run into Preakness. And he's a great trainer, Mike. And you can defend what he did. But for me, it was sort of heartbreaking. Enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Texas catches up to pitching star Nigel Kennedy.
And the Packers and Bengals are both reported to release accomplished defensive players. I'm on the phone. I want to see one of these guys in the deep midnight blue. I do.
Sovereignty's a great horse, Mike. Would have won the trip. Happy time, people. Happy 33rd birthday, Zach Hyman. The Edmonton Oilers center is out of the Stanley Cup final. Hyman was injured in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals against the Dallas Stars, suffering a dislocated right wrist after being hit by Mason Marchment. Hyman underwent surgery and was declared out against the Panthers. Hyman had 5 goals and 6 assists in 15 playoff games, playing on Edmonton's top line with Connor McDavid. But even more than Hyman scoring, what might be missed most in his absence is his physicality, particularly against as physical a group as the Panthers. Hyman led these playoffs with 111 hits. Who on Edmonton will replace that?
The answer, Tone, really appears to be nobody. And, you know, Hyman is such a tough guy. And hockey players in general are so tough. Then when he took that hit in real time, you're thinking he'll be back. No, he's not back. No. And that's a big loss for the Oilers.
Happy anniversary, Shaquille O'Neal. On this day 25 years ago, the Indiana Pacers played Hack-a-Shaq, sent O'Neal to the foul line a shocking 39 times, shattering the NBA record for most free throw attempts in a playoff game. Shaq's 39 attempts blew by the 32 foul shots by Boston's Bob Cousy in a 4-overtime game against the Syracuse Nationals in March 1953. The previous record for foul shot attempts in an NBA final was 24 by St. Louis's Bob Pettit in April 1958. O'Neal's 18 made free throws were 1 fewer than Pettit's. Although Shaq missed 21 free throws, validating the strategy, the Lakers won the game 111-104 and eventually won the finals in 6 games.
3 of my all-time favorite players and people were on the Pacers, if you look at those clips closely. Jalen Rose, Mark Jackson, and Reggie Miller. Wow. And then you got Shaq and Kobe and a whole array of stars on the Lakers, and just wow to that game. Shaq, I guess that was about enough free throws for him, enough to get him by.
Happy trails, Texas Tech. The Red Raiders fell to Texas on Friday night in the deciding Game 3 of the Women's College World Series. Texas Tech star pitcher Nigel Kennedy, pitching her 3rd game in 3 days, could not make it past the 1st inning, surrendering 5 runs on 5 hits, said her manager after the game, quote, "I think that we pushed it to the very limit," unquote. Texas wins the title, having lost to Oklahoma in the championship in 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Tony, if schools are now going to pay their star athletes, and they are officially, and you're going to have NIL money with booster involvement, and you're going to have both, shouldn't softball pitchers, they are big stars. They can control series. It seems like they might be on deck for some big paydays.
Well, she got $1 million. Is that a big enough payday for you?
Yes.
And you can push it to the very limit.
Might be big twice.
Pushed it past. Yeah. Big finish. Here we go. Tigers took 2 or 3 for the Cubs. You disappointed.
Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm more so in the home plate umpire, Derek Thomas, because he, along with Sabalenka, behaved like complete jerks yesterday. Complete jerks. The Packers released corner Jair Alexander. The Bengals will reportedly do the same with linebacker Jermaine Pratt. What's the bigger deal, Tone?
Alexander didn't play much, right? He was hurt all the time? He was hurt all the time.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Courtney Vandersloot of your Sky is out for the season with a torn ACL. Is that a big blow?
Enormous. She's a leading scorer in team history. She's one of the all-time great players in the franchise and a star in my hometown. I hate seeing this. A's rookie Jacob Wilson has raised his average to 372. Are you impressed?
Yeah, the only guy ahead of him is Aaron Judge, and we know Aaron Judge has a great life. Last one, the Phillies have lost 9-10. Your thoughts?
I'm afraid the Phillies have bottomed out just as the Cubbies get to town. I'd like that streak to go a little longer. Lose 11 of 12 at least.
We're out of time. Try to do better the next time. Carol Fox, happy birthday.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. And now, I guess we'll get to it.
So you don't like that umpire, huh? PTI. You didn't like that guy, did you?
No.
Have more with PTI's bonus segment.
All right, Wilbon. Do you have faith in Connor McDavid and the Oilers to bounce back tonight?
Well, faith might be a little strong. It's an even series. Nobody seems to have an advantage. How about hope? And it's just hope. That's all it is, Tony. There's nothing to go on. The series is even. You've got, just like overtime. You got Florida playing a little bit better in second periods and Edmonton playing a little bit better in third periods. And that doesn't tip the scales. This is about what you like. I root for Edmonton, not just this year, but in the past. Certainly last year when they lost in 7. I'm rooting for them again this year. I've turned Brad Marchand into my own villainous character just because it gives me somebody to root against, and you'd like to have somebody worthy to root against. And Brad Marchand is a worthy character.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for McDavid and Draisaitl, among others, and and Nurse and Kane. And I've gotten to have a feel for those players, and I'm rooting for them. And so I have hope they'll come back and win. Game
so
3
I don't want to
series.
sound sacrilegious here with what I'm going to say. I don't think it really matters who wins or loses Game 3 between these two teams, because these two teams were in this last year. This is not their first rodeo. They are bounce-back teams. You beat them once, they come back and beat you the next time. That is their history as teams. I mean, I look at this and I think to myself, they probably think, as you and I probably think, that this is going to go 7. It went 7 last year. Edmonton lost the first 3 last year and ultimately forced a Game 7. So I don't think there's any panic. I think these are competent, confident teams. And look, I don't think Game 3 is going to be decisive. I might say something different in another sport, in another league, in another playoff. These two teams, I don't think it's decisive, right? You agree with that?
Right, yeah, Tony, home ice doesn't seem to indicate all that much. Looking at the way each team has played, Florida not that great at home in this postseason. Edmonton really good on the road. So I don't know. Like, we're looking for places to say, aha, and you can't do it. So I'm like you, but I'm going to watch Game 3. I'm excited for Game 3, and I'd like Edmonton to take the lead. Just me. That's it. We're done. Back to you.